Hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Stygian radio show on Sonic Scout Radio. Sonic Scout Radio exists as a platform for unsigned independent artists to submit their music to be featured for radio airplay. Each track will be presented by one of our curators, so any listener tuning into the show can get more info on the song and the project behind the song. My show, Stygian, is meant to scout for underground electronic talent, specifically in genres such as techno, hardcore techno, dark drone ambient, jungle, breakcore, and all their various subgenres. Before we get into this week's episode featuring an exclusive interview with an up-and-coming electronic artist, I just wanted to provide some news and updates about Sonic Scout Radio and our plan for 2026. We have big plans for investors to come in this year and really expand the platform, so SSR might look very different by the end of the year as compared to now. I've decided to set a goal for myself to have at least 1,000 YouTube subscribers and receive 12 paid submissions a week by the end of the year. But I'm hoping to be able to do that sooner than then. So while I'm working towards that, I've decided to feature interviews with different underground electronic artists while working towards my goal of getting more submissions. The purpose of these interviews is to provide a behind-the-scenes insider look on underground electronic music culture, which can help up-and-coming artists better navigate the music industry. Many of the artists that I am planning on featuring on my show Stygian already have releases out, either self-releases or songs released on various underground net labels. So I wanted to define what a label is and what kind of artist I'm looking for to feature on my show. The purpose of Sonic Scout Radio is finding artists who are unsigned and independent. As more people listen to my show and SSR in general, we're hoping that bigger indie labels will start tuning in to find artists that they would like to sign. So I make a distinction between 3 types of labels: free net labels, bigger indie labels, and major labels, or any of their many sub-labels. Free release net labels are typically not run as businesses, but rather as promotional tools by and for music hobbyists to get more exposure. The second type of label is a bigger indie label, which is not big enough to be considered one of the major labels, but still operates as a business as opposed to a free promotional tool. The last type of label would be one of the major labels, or one of their many sub-labels. For a long time, the major labels held a monopoly on the music industry, but now more than ever, it's easier for artists to get exposure and a following without needing to sign with one of the major labels. The benefit of signing with a major label is to have more financial resources to promote your art, but the downside of that is that you as an artist have less creative freedom. So based on those 3 labels, you can pick what kind of an artist you want to be, depending on what your vision is for your music. I have a handful of other interviews with other artists from the underground music scene, including independent artists, bedroom hobbyists, owners of free net labels, as well as musicians trying to move past the bedroom and have their own career. The first artist that I decided to interview is a friend of mine who will be referred to as Traden. Traden and I first got into electronic music around the same time back in middle school, and it was back then that we first created this vision of becoming electronic musicians. To record the interview, he came into my studio and brought some of his own equipment, including a Behringer Crave and Behringer Edge, which we synced via MIDI to the rest of my equipment. So this episode of Stygian is going to be different from the previous 4 in the sense that I'm going to be playing our interview interspersed with DAWless techno music, which we created collaboratively. Hopefully people who are tuning in can get a better understanding of Traden's musical goals and vision for his music. Let's dive right in. All right, so what is your goal as an artist or as a musician, as a music producer?
I guess you could say my goal is to just be creative as possible. Just create. One of the artists that I really like, his name's San Holo, and he would just always say create, create, create. And I like to draw a lot, and listening to music while drawing is just like a really good escape, and I just want to be able to contribute to that world in some sort of way. So like anyone can make music, so I'm like, I could do it too, and I'd like to show tribute to the people that I have inspiration to, I guess.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're like, I'm able to make music, and I'm influenced by other people, so I want to contribute to this sphere and maybe even help other people be influenced to make music as well.
Yeah, I think it's a really social thing, and meeting lots of people is something that I also like doing too. If they're cool, I guess. But yeah, I just wanna make music and see what's out there, because you never know what you can make, because it all starts as nothing, and the greatest songs that you've heard really just started off as an idea. So I think, just go out and discover it.
So do you feel like anybody is capable of making music then? Do you think it requires a certain level of knowledge or a certain instinct and maybe a musical instinct? Or do you think anybody and everybody can learn and be able to create music?
I think everybody can make music. The hardest thing is just trying. That's it. You just got to try. But everyone can make music.
All right, let's talk about releases then. In what ways are you interested in releasing your music? Because for me, a lot of the stuff that I've released is just either self-releases or maybe even a release with a small free net label, where it's really more of a promotional tool. It's not really something that I generate a lot of income from, but I know a lot of other artists who are submitting tracks to the station might be more interested in eventually taking their music to the next level and maybe even releasing with bigger indie labels and signing contracts so that they can consistently make income from their music. So what is your goal? Do you want to eventually make money from music, or is it really just more of a fun hobby type of thing?
I really see myself making music just for the fun of it. I don't really see myself wanting to make a name for myself, although that would be cool, and that's usually everyone's dream. I really just want to make it just to make it, and just to be able to share it to my friends and share to other people that do like it as well.
All right, so you're mostly interested then in, not really making a big name for yourself or not making a lot of income, but it's really more just for the making music for the sake of making music, which is cool because at least for me, like I know you're more into visual arts and I'm more of a musician. Eventually, I do want to have a career in music and make it as an artist, but that's kind of my approach to other kinds of art. For example, like drawing, where I do it for the sake of doing it, but it's not necessarily an end goal or trying to turn it into a career.
Getting paid for doing what you love is pretty much the ultimate goal. And yeah, especially making underground music, that's some of like the best music in my opinion. So in doing so, you can collaborate with other artists that might also make it, and then in doing so know you, and then they can bring you up, and then you're all just making just the coolest, like you can just pretty much like make a new wave of music if you just keep doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal is, inspire other artists and then those artists inspire other artists. Kind of the point, too, of Sonic Scout Radio, where it's like, the more people that are listening to the station and the more people that are submitting, everybody kind of wins. Where if a lot of people are listening to my station, then a lot of artists are getting the exposure that they want. So I guess we'll maybe switch gears to some other questions, maybe more about the kind of music that you're interested in making, or even what equipment you use it with. So I guess we'll start with what type of music do you want to make? What specific type of electronic music and why?
I would really like to make music like breakcore music and other. I would like to make like future bass, pretty much. Or not? No, sorry, not future bass. Cut that out. I don't want to make future bass, but future bass was a huge inspiration like growing up. But like something esque, like with like good, nice, heavy synths that just like bring chills to your body, mixed with like really deep ambient noises that like breakcore kind of has. I like a lot of fast-paced music, so anything that like close to like 200 BPM, I'm like a big fan of. But I also vibe with like lo-fi beats or just like boom bap hip hop stuff. So like I like the variety. I want to like somehow create like a hybrid of both of them in a way. Not like a hybrid, but just like really chill fast music, I guess. That's kind of like my vibe right now.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal is inspire other artists, and then those artists inspire other artists. Kind of the point, too, of Sonic Scout Radio, where it's like, the more people that are listening to the station and the more people that are submitting, everybody kind of wins. Where if a lot of people are listening to my station, then a lot of artists are getting the exposure that they want. So I guess we'll maybe switch gears to some other questions, maybe more about the kind of music that you're interested in making, or even what equipment you use it with. So I guess we'll start with what type of music do you want to make? What specific type of electronic music, and why?
I would really like to make music like breakcore music and other. I would like to make like future bass, pretty much. Or not? No, sorry, not future bass. Cut that out. I don't want to make future bass, but future bass was a huge inspiration like growing up. But like something esque, like with like good, nice, heavy synths that just like bring chills to your body, mixed with like really deep ambient noises that like breakcore kind of has. I like a lot of fast-paced music, so anything that like close to like 200 BPM I'm like a big fan of. But I also vibe with like lo-fi beats, or just like boom bap hip hop stuff. So like I like the variety. I want to like somehow create like a hybrid of both of them in a way. Not like a hybrid, but just like really chill fast music, I guess. That's kind of like my vibe right now.
Yeah, that's cool. So like a kind of like atmospheric stuff like future bass. A lot of future bass is very atmospheric. A lot of breakcore is very atmospheric too, but it's also fast. So that would be cool to bring together the influence of the fast break beats with the more slow ambience of future bass. What kind of equipment are you interested in using then? Are you planning on using this all with a digital audio workstation, or mostly primarily focusing on hardware like analog equipment to make that kind of music?
Probably like analog equipment right now, just because like I like a lot of hands-on stuff. I started off using FL Studio, and I like computers, but I don't know, making music on the computer, I'm just not that good at. And I'm not saying I'm good at making music, but I feel like taking samples in person with hardware that's like created for that would be a much more satisfying experience. Like if I just take a bunch of like amen breaks together and like just like put them on a bunch of buttons that I can just physically press with my hands, that is more satisfying in my opinion. So I plan on getting more analog stuff. I have two synths. They're not, I don't know if they're made for making the type of music that I want, but they look cool and I bought them. So I have like a Behringer Crave and a Behringer what is it? A Behringer Edge. That's what I have. But I plan on getting more. And I also have like a Teenage Engineering KO2. That one's really fun. I got that for sampling, and it's very handy. But I plan on getting more for sure.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. For me, I made all my music digitally using a computer, a digital audio workstation for years. Pretty much about 10 years, I only used the computer, and then I developed writer's block, and I was going months without making anything, and I decided to invest in some hardware, and I found that it's a totally different experience actually being able to physically put your hand on a piece of hardware and be able to hear how turning the knob changes the sound. It's a lot more satisfying to me than just clicking something with your mouse. So I definitely understand the appeal to hands-on. What about like performing electronic music? Do you have any interest in DJing or performing this kind of music live? And where do you think that's headed, both for your music and in general?
I plan on, if I want to perform, I'd honestly plan on performing online. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but the thought of performing live just scares the heck out of me, and maybe it's some sort of stage fright, but I definitely would like to perform live in the future, but I feel like getting an online audience would also be really cool too. So like doing, maybe I've seen people do like Twitch live streams or like YouTube live streams, so I think maybe like doing something like that would be really cool. Also I watch a ton of like live mixes on YouTube, so like doing something like that would be really cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's totally possible now to get your music out there and play, basically only using your computer or do a live stream. You don't necessarily have to be actually in a club or at a music festival in front of a lot of people. What about in terms of like electronic music in general? Where do you think it's headed? Where do you think the future of electronic music is? Where do you think it'll be in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years? Do you think people are going to keep DJing, or do you think it's going to go maybe more towards live performances?
That's a good question, because I like, as I'm getting older, I've gone more and more out of the loop, I guess, with the electronic scene and just everything that's like going on with like the future of the sound. But what I know is that there are a plethora amount of people making music that is independent pretty much to themselves, and I really appreciate that, and I see a lot more supportive people being supportive to those people, uploading just like the randomest clips or just like the shortest of like something that they made, and I think that's really cool, and I think the more people that do it will just create more and more genres of music. So I think it's heading in a good direction. Yeah, from what I've seen.
It's definitely cool how with the internet, then people can discover new genres and try combining genres. So now we have this kind of scene where one genre splits into another subgenre, which then combines with another subgenre and becomes a sub-subgenre, and it kind of just keeps going. So it's definitely interesting to see where this will go in the future as more people make music. I guess maybe just more of a personal question then regarding your lifestyle, or regarding when you make music, when you do visual arts, or when you make music. Is this something that benefits your mental health? Like, do you feel better when you do this? Is that part of the reason why you do it?
I think it is, because I find myself in when people run, like when I used to run in high school, they get like a runner's high, and so I almost get like that. So when I'm like drawing, I almost get into like a flow state, or making music, I should say. I get into like a flow state, and it's just like, this feels good, and let's just I get into this feeling where I don't really care what it sounds like. Let's just keep rolling with it, and let's just see where it goes. And I usually end up liking the end result, and so I find myself when I complete the projects, I find myself in a really good mood. What happens when I'm doing it and I don't finish it, I kind of get like, will I ever finish this? And I kind of get like this dread feeling. So I guess it kind of has like a negative fact, but in the long scheme of things, it does have a benefit to my mental. It does benefit my mental health.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. I know for me personally, then when I get into a flow state making music, I feel like I'm not even necessarily consciously choosing. It's almost like the music just kind of writes itself and I'm just in it for the ride. But I know for me too, and this is a theme that a lot of my listeners probably know from my music, that sometimes I would incorporate themes of mental health issues that I had in the past. A lot of them were caused from physical health problems as well. I grew up with a sleep disorder, and so that's always something that I was able to incorporate into my music and add kind of this semi-autobiographical element of talking about some of the health problems that I grew up with and how that affected my music and relates to my music.
Music is healing to the soul.
So what is it about electronic music in general that interests you? What got you interested in electronic music? Do you only listen to electronic music? Do you also listen to music with instruments, acoustic instruments, classical music? But what is it that appeals to you about electronic music?
I like it that it's different, and it's that with the fact without using words, it can create such huge emotion. And there's so many different like types of it too, which is super cool. I just get chills listening to it, and I'm like, okay, well, this sounds nice. What else sounds like this? Then I find in the next thing, and it's just like, all right, this is cool. And like I do listen to like other do listen to other music. Like I like the Strokes. Like I can name like a bunch of other people, but I really like 70s and 80s music too a lot because they use synthesizers, and I like synthesizers, and so it's kind of like electronic in a sense, but it's got like some pretty rich vocals also, and like all in all, it's just it's a good genre in my opinion. But I'm also a big fan of rap, and so I listen to a lot of electronic music because it brings out a lot of emotion, and sometimes I can feel what the artist is feeling through it, and I can relate in a sense.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's cool about electronic music too, and partly why for me, I actually prefer listening to music that's instrumental. I don't usually listen to music that's vocal because I don't usually listen to the lyrics. I just kind of enjoy the other aspects as opposed to the lyrics. There are some genres, I mean, like black metal, for example, where there are vocals. But one thing I think is cool about black metal, for example, is how they almost use the voice more like an instrument. And a lot of the vocals, you can't even understand what they're saying, but it just they use the voice to make it sound like an instrument as opposed to a voice.
That's a good point because when I'm listening to music, I have a really hard time like hearing what they're actually saying, unless I'm listening to like watching, like reading the lyrics at the same time. But even then, like I can't really get what they're saying. I'm more focusing on the instruments in the background and how they're organizing pretty much the whole composition in the background. I could honestly care less of what they're saying sometimes. Now I take that very, very lightly. But I'm usually paying attention to the beat and the instruments working together.
Where do you see your music going in 5 years? What do you think you're going to be doing in 5 years with your music? Are you going to be making the same kind of music, a different kind of music? And what about maybe even 10 or even 20 years? What do you think is the future of your music?
I hope to, at least in the next 5 years, at least be uploading my music. And having more instruments. I'm kind of a slow burner, so I at least see myself in the next 5 years at least uploading something, at least something.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's a good goal because even if I've heard it said before, if you release a really good song but nobody hears it, then is it actually a good song? So I think it's definitely a good mentality just to put yourself out there, even if you're not serious about having a career in music, just to release it for other people to listen to. So I only really have one last question, just to kind of end this interview. I'm just wondering if there's any funny moments that you've experienced, either online, in person, maybe at a concert, at a rave, or in the comment section of a song, anything like that.
Okay, so it usually involves like people getting thrown at, but it's like this one time like Justin Bieber was on stage and he got hit by like a bag of Sour Patch Kids. That was really funny. But like I also thought about this one time someone threw like a Red Bull at Skrillex and he was like, "Man, I'm jet lagged. I've been like to this place. I'm super tired. Everyone boo this guy." And everyone just started booing him and it was really funny. But like in person, I'm trying to think of like a funny thing that happened, but there's this one time I was like headbanging really, really hard. Like it was pretty. I was going pretty hard. And I just remember this one girl was in front of me and she was just looking at me and she just gave me a thumbs up, and I laughed because it was just a funny interaction. But I don't have too many funny instances in person.
That's always good for me, like whenever I'm at a club or at a rave or some kind of a music event and I'm going really hard, then sometimes people after they'll be like, "Man, you went so hard," or they'll give me a high five or something like that. So yeah, that is definitely
like
really fun.
They wish they could be as hype as you.
Yeah, they wish that they could dance as good as you can. All right, well, that's pretty much all the questions that I have. So thanks again for coming on this interview.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was really fun.